Hey, listen to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM 99.0, ArrowFM and MPR. As always, I'm Grady, and live on Skype we've got Josh.
Hey.
This is the last week where Grady is going to have to talk slightly quietly because he's in an Airbnb in Germany. He'll be back in New Zealand next week with our Clash of Champions preview. But before we get there, a lot happened this week. So, I don't even know where to start on this.
I guess we should probably talk about, the King of the Ring, because there was a lot of crazy stuff that happened with it.
That sounds like a good plan. First off, Baron Corbin took on Cedric Alexander,
Who was injured by the OC earlier in the night, to give him a perfect excuse for losing to Baron Corbin.
It's kind of sad that people need an excuse to lose to Baron Corbin.
Yeah, but you gotta protect him.
This is true. Baron Corbin obviously advancing from his side of the Raw bracket. But on the other part of the Raw bracket, things get a little bit more confusing.
Yeah, one of those rare times when a double pin happens.
It's not the way I would have expected a tied match to go, no.
But it gives... If it had been any other way to do a tied match, though, they would have eliminated both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because historically, if you have a double disqualification or double countout, those people are automatically eliminated. But I can't recall of a time where in the tournament where a double pinfall happened to eliminate both of them.
I know there was a lot of discussion immediately after it happened, will they both be out or will they both be in? And then we get it confirmed later on in the night that they are in fact both in.
Yeah, and so the Raw Finals is a triple threat between Samoa Joe, Baron Corbin, and Ricochet.
I gotta say, it feels like when you line it up with two heels and a face, the face is going to overcome the odds.
Except in this case, it gives them an excuse to put somebody over Ricochet and not have it be a one-on-one match.
This is true. It doesn't really...
Yep. I have a feeling, honestly, that this tournament has been all about building up one particular wrestler, and it was somebody nobody expected at the start of the tournament.
Do you want to talk about the SmackDown side of things, do you?
Might as well.
Let's talk about the one that you don't want to talk about first. Elias defeating Ali.
I'm not actually that surprised.
Mm-hmm.
I could see Elias make it to the finals. If that's the case, then Ricochet is definitely winning the Raw triple threat. In which case, then we're probably looking at King Ricochet.
Don't sound so sad at that.
But I could definitely see, honestly, the kind of gimmick that Elias has, it's perfect for a King gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
So it works perfectly. However, I think the other guy, and that'll be in the other finals, might have something to say about that.
Well, I came into it all guns blazing, saying that it's King McIntyre, nothing but King McIntyre. And then he lost in the first round. You laughed at me and said, it's King Andrade. And now I get to laugh at you because he's also out.
I said it was most likely King Andrade. I never said it was going to be.
You weren't as, hard about it as I was now.
Yeah. This is the shocker of the tournament.
King Gable.
Yeah, Chad Gable. I think this tournament has actually been built to build him up. Once you get past all the dang short jokes.
Yeah. It was quite surprising, as you say, just this match in general and the fact that he's made it this far. Will he make it to the finals? That's another question.
Well, I'll say this. If Corbin or Joe wins that match, Gable wins the SmackDown side.
Mm-hmm.
Then loses to whoever's on the Raw side. In the finals. But it's been very interesting seeing how they've slowly progressed him in this tournament. You didn't expect him to even beat Sheldon. Then he did. Then he faced Andrade, who's one of the hottest heels in the company right now. Didn't expect him to win that.
So you put him against Elias.
And Elias has that character where it doesn't really matter if he wins or loses. So Gable can definitely win it. And then there's always that Kevin Owens factor hanging over Elias.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, that's going to come into play. Whether it's next week on SmackDown or at the pay-per-view in the finals. Elias is getting screwed by Kevin Owens.
Yeah, that's completely and utterly fair enough. I personally see it next week, I think. I keep tossing up between Gable or Ricochet, because clearly only one of them can make it into the final. And as much as I'd love it to be Ricochet, I feel like, as you say, it is built so much around Gable that it would seem weird to drop him at this point when they're going so hard out on him.
Yeah, but honestly, out of all the possible matchups, the one I'd want to see the most in the finals is one we will never see, and that's Ricochet versus Gable.
Mm-hmm.
That would be one heck of a match. So we'll have to see where we are next week as we're staring down the barrel of the pay-per-view. But they've got us hooked on this tournament. They've done almost everything right on it. Even if they did take your boy out in the first round.
I cry. Maybe they do a triple pinfall in the triple threat to make it a fatal four-way final. We've seen crazier things. Let's jump into this women's division. So Lacey Evans, she's back from her whatever she wanted to call it. She's sort of floating around, but that's not the main story on Raw. The main story on Raw is Bayley is sort of teamed up with her friend/foe/friend/foe/friend.
We got something that should have happened and we thought happened over a year and a half ago, but now has finally actually happened. And the best part is she's the character that she's playing still thinks she's a good person. Those are almost always the best heels, is when they're delusional and thinking that they're still a good person, that they're still a good guy.
There's just been a lot of attacking in the women's division. Sasha Banks constantly attacking people until she got to her Raw Women's Championship match against Becky, and then Bayley shows up and then attacks Becky. And then over on SmackDown, Sasha and Bayley together attack Charlotte. It's just a lot of attacking. Yeah.
So that begs the question, will we see Charlotte and Becky mend their fences? Or are those fences beyond repair?
Yeah, it definitely seems that way, right? Because it's clearly a 2-on-2 here. Or a 1-on-2-on-1.
It's always possible that they could do a 2-on-2 Hell in a Cell match between the 4 horsewomen. Winner take all for the Raw and SmackDown titles.
Quite a fan of winner take all, especially if the belts are on opposing teams. So there will be a title change. I'm happy with that. And it also sort of gives Becky and Charlotte a reason to team up. We've got to have the teamwork together, because if we don't, then we're both, or whoever's got a title is losing their title and the other one's losing their shot.
I just don't want to see this end on next Sunday. I think that there's still so much more they can do with this. And now that they've turned Bayley, I definitely don't want to see her lose the title this quickly after turning. I could see her losing her title maybe at Hell in a Cell if they wanted to go down that route.
Yeah.
But and that would give her an even more antsy reason to be a villain. But I don't want to. As much as I wasn't looking forward to it before, now I'm looking forward to these matches.
Because I believe
it's amazing how much of an alignment change can affect that.
Yeah, Bayley versus Charlotte was just going to be yet another match between the two, and now, as you say, Bayley flipping over to the heel side is sort of just giving it a little bit of extra fire, a little bit of reason to want to watch it. All right, well, we are going to go into our entrance theme of the week. Much because he defeated Josh's pick to win, we must now play his theme. It's like it's the theme championship, right? Whoever beats the person whose theme we last play, we play their theme. But it is going to be Chad Gable's theme. Playing that for you now. And you're back with the Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and NPR. I'm Grady, he's Josh, and we still have a whole lot to get to. So let's jump into the tag team division. Ziggler and Rude proven that they can work together as a team.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they can manage to pull the titles off the main eventers or not. But they're definitely looking like an oiled machine right now. Don't know how well, but they're definitely oiled.
Yeah, talking about the main eventers, they also proved that they can work together as a team and took out the OC. So it's two teams that seem like seem like they're able to work together for the 20 minutes they need to work together for.
Well, I'm just hoping it's a good match, because I really don't care that much at this point, because the feud really isn't between these two teams. It's between two members of one team.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. So I will kind of want to see if they want to pull the, they have a match later in the night, since one of them's going to screw the other over storyline, or are they going to be going all out and maybe holding on to those titles beyond just the big match at the end of the night, and then screwing somebody over later on?
My preferred is that they retain the tag titles and then Braun wins the Universal. So that they still hold the tag team belts, but that there's a title change between the two of them. How likely?
I don't know.
Not.
It's just I'm not sure with the Fiend apparently staking his claim to the Hell in a Cell match. I'm not sure if Braun is the right choice for that, especially a freshly crowned champion in Braun.
Mm-hmm. You see, I'd completely forgotten that was on the horizon, so that does change it. That's still my preferred outcome. I don't know, I feel like The Fiend taking out Braun Strowman at Hell in a Cell could be quite an amazing feat.
Then you would have, in a span of 3 months, you would have 4 title changes.
That's par for the course, isn't it? I don't know, I could honestly see it happen. I don't know. We also seem to be working on the assumption that at Hell in a Cell, The Fiend is getting the belt.
I would almost have to, wouldn't he? I mean, there's little point in having The Fiend put anybody over right now.
Yeah, it's a tough scenario, right? Because if that's the case, right, and it's that obvious, The Fiend is winning the belt at Hell in a Cell, then you've just telegraphed it from so far away.
Yeah, which is why that Fire F5 Funhouse, while it was fun, was so stupid as well.
Unless they're going to change it up or swerve us before we get there.
Because now it's not special. It's not something that it's something we expect. And so that does take it away from it a little bit.
I feel like this is one of those ones that's going to change a little bit before we actually get to Hell in a Cell. I'd almost be interested to see some sort of storyline where Braun, Seth, I don't care who has the belt, but they sort of get booked in a different Universal title match at Hell in a Cell, and The Fiend go, hey, what's up? I said I had the next match at Hell in a Cell, and then the authority figure or whatever just sort of says, yeah, but you just said that, and sort of ignores The Fiend, and then The Fiend obviously attacks whoever's making these matches and then attacks the people in the championship match and stuff like that. But so many times wrestlers can just sort of walk out and say, I'm having a title match, and get it given to them.
Well, that would be the McMahon family.
Which I wouldn't put it past the Fiend to attack. Just saying. Where else are we even? My god, we were in the tag team division, so I wanted to mention the Viking Raiders before we ran away. At this current moment, still on Raw. Still beating up random local teams.
Yeah. Although probably not as random of a local team as the person Shinsuke beat on SmackDown.
Who was Shinsuke's opponent?
It was just a random person who they said, it doesn't matter who your name is, today you're the Miz. That was literally the kind of just stuff that Sammy said. Because he said a random name, and he's like, no, that's not my name. It doesn't matter what your name is.
Nice.
Today you're the Miz. And then Shinsuke beat the crap out of him.
Yep. That's fair. To be fair, on WWE.com, the Viking Raiders match does say Brian Thomas and Tyler Hastings, and then SmackDown just says local competitor for Shinsuke's.
Yep, because they literally never got a name for the guy.
Nice. So yeah, Shinsuke also continuing along with his Intercontinental title. I believe having his match against The Miz officially booked as well. So that's the direction we all knew we were heading in anyway. No massive surprises.
Nope. And time for Sammy to earn his money.
Sammy's getting paid?
Hey, he gets paid no matter what, because he's also a wrestler.
That's a good point. In storyline, he's getting paid.
Why not?
That's true. I'm trying to see what else. I don't want to skip over anything. Cesaro has teeth. That sounds so random, out of place.
Yeah.
Alright, so we'll go into the women's tag team division now. Fire and Desire sort of staking some claim against Bliss and Cross.
Should be an interesting match if they do it. I mean, the women's tag team titles do have to be on the line, otherwise you can't use the line, every title will be defended.
Yeah, it's some interesting possibilities, you know. It is a SmackDown show, but I know the Aussie show over here has Fire and Desire versus Kabuki Warriors versus Iconics. If you really want to shove them on, you can put that all in here, put Bliss and Cross in there defending, and you got a Fatal 4-Way tag team sort of cluster match. There's a couple options, since it doesn't feel like Bliss and Cross have a 2-on-2 sort of storyline set out as of yet, 1 week of content away from the pay-per-view.
Or you could just strap Fire and Desire, and then you have a triple threat for the titles.
Mm-hmm. Always a possibility. I could see it going either way. And then, you know, just have the Iconics win it at a live show in Australia that nobody's watching. So yeah, the women's tag team division, something's got to happen there next week. Because I believe that is the only title not booked. I think. United States isn't booked officially yet either.
Yeah, that's weird. The weird thing is that AJ's been floating around here, but he doesn't have an opponent.
Those are the only 2 belts. The King of the Ring, I'm counting that as a championship. And then, yeah, just the US title and the women's tag. So what's AJ going to do next week in content to get himself a match? I guess maybe it depends on some King of the Ring stuff.
You know what? Ricochet versus Elias for the finals. Gable gets a US title match.
Why not? Just why not?
I mean, they've mixed up the 2 divisions, 2 shows anyway, throughout these title matches.
Well, The Miz is a Raw superstar, right?
Yep. Facing Shinsuke is SmackDown and the current Intercontinental Champion.
Revival's a Raw team taking on New Day for the SmackDown titles. Yep, it's all over the place. So yeah, I could definitely see some sort of crossover there, but AJ Styles is going to have to get himself a challenger. Maybe he'll do an open challenge on the night, and maybe that's how Chad Gable comes out.
Maybe. It would be interesting to see the United States and the Intercontinental titles switch brands. Not that I want to see that, but that'd be interesting. That would be an interesting way to do it.
That would mean that both Shinsuke and AJ would have to lose.
Yep. And that would mean The Miz would become a 9-time Intercontinental Champion, tying Chris Jericho.
Yeah, but Chris Jericho loses belts that he has.
And then Chad Gable would then become the United States Champion, which would solidify the push he's getting from this tournament.
Yeah, I'd be happy with half of that. And then one more thing we need to get to before the end of the show. We got like 6 minutes left to go. I just want to make sure we get to it. Is the SmackDown Live, the ending. Now, Eric Rowan was the one that was attacking Roman Reigns. Shock, horror, and then he attacks Roman again. Okay.
And then he attacked Daniel Bryan.
That's where the shocked Pikachu face comes in. What the hell is happening?
Yeah, I think there's more to this story, though. I don't think that that this is just going to be the end. There's somebody that Rowan is working for, whether it's Daniel Bryan or not. I just think there's something beyond this point.
Mm-hmm. I want to see how far back they sort of tie this into, like Eric Rowan returns out of nowhere. He's by Daniel Bryan's side. They have a tag team run together. Bryan's got a world championship at some point in this run. Then he starts attacking Roman. Then he turns on Daniel. How long has Eric Rowan sort of been, I guess, puppet mastered into where he is now? Or did somebody just pay him more than Daniel Bryan was?
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see, because this is one of those storylines still developing, even though we think we know everything. We may not know the last piece. And
much to the internet's anger, that last piece is probably not Luke Harper. Probably.
Let's face it, he's probably never going to appear on WWE television again until after his contract's done. And
then he still won't appear on WWE television.
Yep.
Yeah, people seem to be hanging on hope that he's sort of going to be the last man involved in this storyline, but I just don't see it. Sorry, man.
Yeah, I don't see it because it's just a rehash of previous storylines with the two of them.
Mm. So we'll have it be the Fiend then, using some mind control. I do just have to say, though, that Eric Rowan had some really good mic work in this segment as well. Something that he hasn't had a lot of chance to do.
You know what? Let's throw it way back in the storyline. What did Roman do the night he was drafted to SmackDown?
Oh, God. I don't have a good memory. Just tell me.
He Superman punched Vince McMahon. What if it was Vince that behind all this all along?
Oh, God. I have a feeling, and now this just might be a gut feeling, that this storyline wasn't planned out that long ago, but that we may tie it into stuff that happened that long ago. Even as far back as Eric Rowan's re-debut, I feel like they didn't have this long of a plan set out.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't say that far back because of Eric Rowan's re-debut, because they had no clue of when Roman would be back at that point. Roman didn't come back until February.
I feel like this is sort of a plan that's developed in the last few months. They're like, okay, this is a cool way to tie it all together. But as you say, we will have to wait and see. And also, just quickly before we run away, 24/7 Championship, it's back in R-Truth's hands.
You mean the light sand?
It got passed around quite a bit.
Yeah.
Bo Dallas took it off Drake, then it went back to Drake, and then it's on R-Truth to end the show for his 14th title run.
Racing to that 17 so he can be better than his childhood hero. AEW says that just cracks me up, considering he's older than John.
Yeah. Alright, well, that's all we have time for this week. It's been great talking to you.
Bye-bye.
You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/WrestlingHourRadio, Twitter page, twitter.com/WrestlingHourRadio, and we'll see you next week with our rundown of Clash of Champions.